The text arrived while I was piping delicate sugar roses onto a wedding cake, my hands steady despite the bomb about to drop. Emma, I'm taking over the bakery. Dad signed the papers this morning. You're out. Don't worry, I'll keep you on as head baker. It's what you're actually qualified for anyway. I continued piping roses while calculating exactly how much this would cost her, and she had no idea I'd been 3 steps ahead for months. My voice didn't waver as I helped Mrs. Chen select cake toppers, the only sign that my sister of 29 years had just attempted a corporate coup via emoji was the slight smile playing at my lips. My name is Emma. And at 35, I just received the most arrogant power grab in family business history. But while Sarah was probably celebrating her calculated move, imagining me broken and grateful for any scraps she'd throw me, I was calmly finishing the anniversary cake, knowing exactly what evidence I'd been quietly collecting for the past 18 months. Another text buzzed through. Face it, Em, customers want Instagram-worthy cakes, not your grandmother's old-fashioned recipes. I have an MBA. You have flour under your fingernails. Time to modernize everything. Nails. The signs had been building for over a year. Family meetings I wasn't invited to, despite owning 60% of Thompson Family Bakery. Dad mentioning Sarah's business expertise to customers while I decorated their orders. Mom would sigh and say, well, Sarah understands numbers better than Emma, whenever I discussed expansion plans. 2 weeks ago, I'd overheard them in the kitchen. Emma's talented, but she thinks too small, Dad had said. Sarah could turn this into a real empire. Mom agreed. Poor Emma just doesn't have the vision. She's stuck in grandmother's old ways. Poor Emma, who'd built their retirement fund from scratch. 6 months ago, I'd found a business plan in Sarah's car that outlined a complete restructuring of our bakery. A plan titled Thompson's Bakery 2.0, from hobby shop to corporate success. My name appeared only once, under production staff. That same week, I'd started a separate business account and begun documenting every suspicious conversation, every family betrayal, every attempt to reduce me from owner to employee in my own business. The bakery Sarah was trying to steal, I'd built it from our grandmother's recipe collection and a $15,000 inheritance while she was getting her MBA and complaining about working with my hands like some common laborer. The business she now claimed to understand better than me generated $400,000 annually, money I'd carefully tracked and legally protected from grasping family members. My phone buzzed again. Maybe you can work for me once I modernize everything. I'm thinking we rebrand as Thompson & Associates Artisanal Solutions. Sounds more professional than your little bakery, right? Oh, and I already hired a real pastry chef from culinary school. Someone with actual credentials. Cake emoji. Someone with actual credentials. To replace me. In my own kitchen, I screenshotted every message, adding them to the folder labeled Sarah's Legal Mistakes. Let her keep talking. My lawyer would find her casual cruelty very interesting evidence. I didn't respond to her texts. Instead, I called my attorney, the one I'd consulted 3 months ago when I discovered Sarah had been meeting with suppliers, telling them she was the real decision maker behind our operations. It's happening, I said simply. She just made her move. The documentation is ready, Michelle replied. I'll file the preliminary injunction first thing tomorrow. Are you recording this conversation? Every word, just like all the others. Another text from Sarah. BTW, told the family you've been having a breakdown lately. Everyone agrees you need professional help. Business help, I mean. Don't worry, big sister will save the family legacy. My breakdown. The stress she'd been systemically creating while positioning herself as the solution. I spent that evening in the bakery, my bakery, organizing the evidence Michelle would need. Financial records showing consistent growth under my management. Audio recordings of family conversations where Sarah admitted her takeover plans. Screenshots of her telling friends she was finally claiming what should have been mine from the start. While reviewing the paperwork, I found our original partnership agreement. Sarah looked so different when we'd signed it 5 years ago, fresh out of business school, full of theories about synergistic family enterprises. These days, she spoke fluent MBA gibberish while being unable to tell fondant from buttercream. My phone kept buzzing with orchestrated family messages. Emma, honey, Sarah explained everything. Maybe it's time to let someone with education handle the business side. Mom, you've done great work, sweetheart, but Sarah has the training for this kind of operation. Dad, everyone can see how overwhelmed you've been. This could be your chance to just focus on baking. Aunt Linda. Each message felt like a knife twist, but I screenshotted them all. Let them document their conspiracy to remove me from my own business? My lawyer would appreciate their written confession.
The next morning brought increasingly confident texts from Sarah. Already scheduled meetings with our 3 biggest wedding planners. Time to show them what professional management looks like. Business case. Moving into the upstairs office today. Hope you don't mind. I had it redecorated to look more corporate and less crafty. Oh, and I'm implementing new efficiency protocols. No more of your grandmother's time-consuming techniques. We're going modern. Perfect. I called our business accountant. Emma, how's the anniversary cake coming along? I need to report unauthorized access attempts and secure all financial systems immediately. Unauthorized access? From who? My sister has been making supplier agreements without authorization and is now attempting to seize business operations without legal authority. I need all passwords changed and her access completely revoked. Do you have documentation? 18 months worth of bank statements, unauthorized contracts, and text messages where she admits to manipulating our family against me. Plus, audio recordings of her planning this takeover. The accountant's shock was audible as we secured every account. Sarah would arrive at the bakery tomorrow to find herself locked out of everything. My phone buzzed. Don't worry about tomorrow's prep. My culinary school hire starts Monday. He specializes in contemporary pastry architecture. So much more sophisticated than your home-style approach. I actually laughed. Did she really think she could replace years of relationship building and recipe development with one hire who'd learned from textbooks? Another buzz. I know change is hard, Em, but customers expect innovation now. Your little recipes worked for grandmother's generation, but we need to think bigger. I'm already planning our expansion into corporate catering. My little recipes. That had built everything she was trying to steal. I poured myself champagne, the bottle I'd been saving for our 5-year anniversary celebration. This definitely qualified. Tomorrow, Sarah would learn about business ownership and legal documentation. Tonight, I'd enjoy the quiet and plan her education. Morning brought panicked texts. What did you do to the computer systems? I can't access anything. The culinary school guy can't get in. Did you change all the locks? The wedding planners are calling because their deposits were refunded. What is wrong with you? This is financial sabotage. I'm calling Dad. I silenced my phone and headed to work. Saturday was our busiest day, and I had 3 wedding cakes to complete. Life goes on, even when your sister attempts a hostile takeover. By noon, Dad was calling. Emma, what's this about locking Sarah out? She says you've lost your mind. I put him on speaker while tempering chocolate. Did she mention she had no legal authority for any of her changes? That I own 60% of this business according to our filed partnership agreement? Silence. Well, she said you'd been struggling with the financial complexity. Dad, I have recordings. Would you like to hear the one where she calls my recipes embarrassingly amateur? And my customers unsophisticated? Or maybe the one where she laughs about finally putting Emma in her place? Long pause. She said those things?
18 months worth. My lawyer has everything. Lawyer Emma, surely we can work this out as a family. Sarah made it a legal matter when she tried to steal my business. Goodbye, Dad. By afternoon, Sarah's NBA classmates were posting about the drama at Thompson's Bakery on LinkedIn. Apparently, Sarah and her culinary school hire were stuck in the parking lot, their corporate takeover completely derailed. She'd tried using her personal credit cards to hire additional staff, but those were maxed out from her post-graduation celebration cruise, another red flag I documented months ago. Michelle called with updates. Emergency hearing scheduled for Monday. Given her documented attempts at business usurpation and the family manipulation evidence, we're positioned to get a complete restraining order. Has she been served? Process server found her at that trendy wine bar, telling everyone about her new bakery empire. She apparently threw the papers at him and screamed about family loyalty. I smiled, thinking of my documentation. 2 years of careful evidence collection while she planned my destruction. Sarah had been so focused on her MBA theories that she'd never considered I might be watching, waiting, preparing. My phone buzzed. You think you're so smart with your little legal tricks, but I have copies of everything. Customer lists, supplier contacts, even grandmother's recipes. Half this empire is mine by sweat equity, strong arm. I forwarded the text to Michelle. Let her learn about intellectual property law the hard way. Sometimes the best revenge is simply being prepared. The emergency hearing Monday was everything I'd hoped for. Sarah arrived in full corporate costume, a power suit that screamed desperate MBA graduate. Her hastily hired lawyer looked overwhelmed by Michelle's evidence mountain. Your Honor, Michelle began methodically, Miss Sarah Thompson attempted to seize control of a business where she holds only 40% minority stake, while her sister Emma owns 60% as founding member and primary operator. Sarah's lawyer weakly protested, my client was implementing necessary modernization to prevent financial decline. Modernization? Michelle countered, like replacing award-winning recipes with mass-produced alternatives? Or perhaps firing the owner and hiring unqualified replacements? This isn't modernization, it's sabotage motivated by jealousy. The judge reviewed my evidence, partnership agreements, recorded family conversations, Sarah's text messages admitting to manipulation and theft attempts. Miss Sarah Thompson, the judge addressed my sister directly, you attempted to hire replacement staff and alter business operations for a company you don't control? Explain this behavior. Sarah squirmed. I was bringing professional management to a family business that was being run like a hobby. A hobby that generates $400,000 annually with 98% customer satisfaction ratings? And you plan to improve this by replacing the owner? I have an MBA. I understand business strategy in ways she never could.
This isn't fair." "Then start your own business," the judge replied coldly. "Miss Sarah Thompson, you are hereby restrained from any involvement in Thompson Family Bakery operations. Court adjourned."
My heels clicked confidently across the courthouse steps as I headed back to the business she never understood or respected. The following weeks brought desperate moves from Sarah. She tried claiming grandmother's recipes were family intellectual property. She begged our parents to invest in her professional bakery concept. She even attempted poaching our employees with promises of real corporate benefits at a business that existed only in PowerPoint. Each attempt crumbled against my documented ownership and employment contracts. "She's spiraling," Michelle observed. "Her social media shows she's working at Megamart's bakery department now. Apparently, MBA theory doesn't translate to actual baking skills." Sarah's business school friends began distancing themselves as news spread. The culinary graduate she'd hired posted publicly about not being paid, adding, "Fair warning to other professionals, verify business ownership before accepting positions from Thompson family members." My parents slowly began reaching out, their tone completely different. "We never imagined she'd planned this so thoroughly," Dad admitted stiffly. "She convinced us you were overwhelmed, that you needed help. We didn't realize she meant replacing you entirely." Mom called separately, crying. The things she said about your abilities, about how the business needed real leadership. We should have seen through her manipulation. You built something beautiful, and we almost helped her destroy it. I let their calls go to voicemail. Their support felt hollow after months of betrayal. The bakery thrived, boosted by community support after word spread. Customers came specifically to show solidarity, often ordering custom cakes they didn't really need. "I heard what your sister tried," one regular confided while ordering cupcakes. "Family members who try stealing what you've earned deserve everything they get. Women supporting women means calling out the traitors, too." My phone still buzzed with Sarah's messages, swinging between rage and manipulation. "You've destroyed my reputation in this entire town. I never meant to hurt you. I was trying to modernize us for success. You'll regret this vindictiveness when you need family support. That bakery would be nothing without my strategic vision." I forwarded each message without responding. Let her dig deeper. Through the grapevine, I heard Sarah was struggling to find local work. Word travels fast in small business communities about family betrayers. Her MBA wasn't opening doors when paired with a reputation for attempted theft. She posted about toxic family dynamics and standing up for yourself on social media, carefully omitting her attempted coup. Yesterday, Michelle mentioned she's applied for business loans to start competing with you. 3 banks denied her. They called asking about the partnership dispute. Financial institutions share information about litigation risks. I almost felt sorry for Sarah. Almost. Then I remembered her emoji-filled cruelty, her assumption I'd gratefully accept demotion in my own business, her casual dismissal of everything I'd built. Instead of pity, I felt pride. Pride in my preparation, my strength, my refusal to be diminished by someone who never understood the difference between education and wisdom. The final partnership dissolution painted a different picture from Sarah's imagined triumph. Gone was her corporate confidence, replaced by barely concealed panic. Her new lawyer looked exhausted from searching for loopholes in my documented majority ownership. "Your Honor," Sarah's lawyer attempted desperately, "my client's business education contributed significantly to operational improvements and strategic planning." Strategic planning, like these recorded conversations where she calls Emma's award-winning recipes embarrassingly outdated and customers unsophisticated rubes who don't know quality.
Or perhaps this business plan where she budgets $0 for actual baking ingredients because she planned to use cost-effective pre-made alternatives? The judge looked disgusted. The final settlement reflected my preparation. I retained complete ownership of Thompson Family Bakery, all recipes, customer relationships, and assets. Sarah received her original $5,000 investment back and permanent prohibition from using our business name or claiming association with our success. "You've ruined everything!" she screamed as we left. "I'll have to start over from nothing while you keep everything I helped build." "You didn't help build anything, Sarah. You just watched me work while planning to steal the results. There's a difference." Her parents waited outside, ready to drive her to her studio apartment, the only place she could afford on retail wages. The woman who'd mocked my simple baking skills now couldn't afford the designer clothes she'd worn to court. "You planned this. You manipulated everything."
No, I just paid attention. Unlike you, I understood that businesses are built on relationships and respect, not stolen through manipulation and family betrayal. Mom stepped between us. "Enough, Sarah. You've embarrassed us enough." As they walked away, I heard Mom start, "Honestly, what were you thinking? Trying to steal from your own sister? Lying to your family? Hiring people without authority?" I watched them disappear, feeling only relief. Sarah had thought she was writing the ending with that cruel text. Instead, she'd triggered protections I'd quietly established. My phone buzzed, not with Sarah's messages, but with new catering inquiries from my growing reputation. Life was moving forward, just not how she'd had imagined. 6 months later, Thompson Family Bakery had expanded to include a cafe and cookbook deal. While Sarah struggled at Megamart's bakery counter, my embarrassingly outdated recipes were being featured in national food magazines. Her attempts to sabotage my supplier relationships had backfired spectacularly. When she'd contacted our vendors claiming to be the real decision maker, they'd called me directly. Word spread quickly about her deception, ensuring she'd never work with quality suppliers in this region. The culinary graduate she'd hired posted a detailed LinkedIn article about red flags when evaluating family business opportunities, specifically mentioning Sarah's case as an example of attempted fraud. It went viral in culinary circles, effectively ending her credibility in food service.
Her MBA classmates began sharing the story as a cautionary tale about entitlement and business ethics. Her business school actually contacted me, requesting to use our case as an example in their family business law curriculum. The bakery's expansion brought media attention. Local business publications featured my story not as family drama, but as smart entrepreneurship and legal protection strategies. Sarah's revenge attempts continued failing. She tried launching an online baking blog, but commenters quickly discovered her lack of actual skills. The blog lasted 6 posts before disappearing entirely. She attempted starting a business consulting practice targeting family enterprises, but potential clients Googled her name and found our court records. Nobody wanted advice from someone who'd tried stealing her sister's business. My lawyer kept me updated on Sarah's continued legal challenges. Each petition was dismissed, her claims of unfair treatment rejected based on documented evidence of her attempted theft. She actually filed a complaint claiming the judge was biased against MBA graduates, Michelle told me, laughing. The response pointed out that several successful business owners with MBAs had testified in your favor during proceedings. The bakery's success validated everything I'd protected. Young entrepreneurs sought my advice about legal safeguards and family business dynamics.
Education matters, I told one woman, whose brother was demanding partnership based on his business degree. But never let anyone use credentials as weapons against your experience. Protect what you build, because family entitlement can be the most dangerous threat.
Sarah's parents called occasionally, usually after her latest scheme failed. She'd tried joining MLM companies, convinced her MBA would help her succeed where others struggled. Each venture ended in debt and disappointment. She's still blaming everyone else, Dad sighed during one call. Says the business world is rigged against innovative thinkers like her. We offered to help her start fresh in another state if she'd acknowledge her mistakes, but she refuses to take responsibility. I listened politely, but maintained distance. Their enabling had created the monster who tried destroying my life's work. The only reminder of Sarah's impact was a framed screenshot in my office. Her text calling my work embarrassingly amateur and my customers unsophisticated. Below it hung my latest industry award for innovative recipe development. 1 year after Sarah's attempted coup, I hosted Thompson Family Bakery's expansion celebration. Media attended, wanting to tell the story of successful business protection and growth despite family sabotage. During the event, the Mega Mart bakery manager approached me privately. "I owe you honesty," she said quietly. When Sarah applied, she claimed to be co-owner of Thompson's and said you'd stolen her recipes. We almost believed her until we called for references and learned the truth. She is not our best employee. I continued arranging celebration cupcakes. What gave it away? She can't actually bake. Everything has to be from mixes and pre-made components. When customers ask about ingredients or techniques, she gets defensive and claims she's above manual labor. It's embarrassing, honestly. The celebration showcased everything Sarah had tried to claim. Awards for recipe innovation, customer testimonials about quality and service, plans for national cookbook publication featuring our grandmother's techniques she'd called embarrassingly outdated. Young business owners approached throughout the evening, seeking advice about protecting their ventures from entitled family members. The most important lesson, I told them, is that education without character is worthless. Protect your work from people who'd rather steal than earn, regardless of their degrees or family relationships. Sarah's mother attended, though uninvited. She waited until the crowd thinned before approaching. "I saw Sarah last week," she said, adjusting her coat uncomfortably. She was complaining about her manager, claiming she deserves promotion based on her education. She still doesn't understand that she lost everything when she chose betrayal over building something herself. I thought about that text message, her casual cruelty, her assumption I'd gratifully accept demotion in my own business, how she'd expected me to thank her for modernizing what I'd created through years of dedication. Instead, I'd built something stronger. Each bakery location proved what women could achieve when they stopped apologizing for success and started protecting it from those who'd rather destroy than create. The young baker I'd mentored last year came over with questions about the specialty techniques I'd developed. As I explained methods perfected through years of practice, I caught my reflection in the display case. I saw what Sarah had failed to recognize. Not a woman who needed management, but one who'd mastered both craft and business while protecting both from those who'd steal credit for others' work. Her cruel text had been meant as an ending. Instead, it became a beginning, not just for me, but for every entrepreneur who learned that family betrayal could be survived, and success was the ultimate vindication.